Hello,
Cast me.
everybody. Welcome back to another episode of From the Fourth Line. My name's Emma, and I'm joined, as always, by my lovely co-host slash poodle for the day,
Fuck off.
Marcie.
I can't win. I wash my hair and it's slightly humid.
And it's funny because no one can see it,
No
so
one will
everyone just
see
has
it.
to, no, everyone just has to take my word for it when I say that it's frizzy.
Considering the first thing you said to me was, "Oh, yes, Frizzy."
Not even like a hello.
Just a oh.
We've been doing this show for too long and we've been friends for too long. We've moved past the need for hello.
No, it's just straight to the lol. Let's make a comment about your parents. How can I start by bullying you today?
Speaking of bullying, the Toronto Maple Leafs. I'm realizing now I don't have any notes written down for game 6. I only have notes for game 1.
You know what?
Wait, no, we talked
So-
about game 6
Wait.
last episode. I've
Yes,
been
we
waking
did.
up at 4:45 in the morning way too much in the past 2.5 weeks. My brain is scrambled. Blame this on the 8 o'clock start last night's game. Can we never do that again ever?
No, please no.
The draft lottery was not worth it.
Like, oh, like, who's the biggest loser? Like, that doesn't have to be
Who's-
done at 7
We're gonna
p.m.
we're gonna talk about the biggest loser because I'm gonna make so many jokes. It's gonna be incredible. I've been like I've been ranking bunkers. I was ranking bunkers this morning and then I was line trimming all afternoon. Do you know how much time I've had to think?
Too much.
Honestly, it's probably an issue.
Definitely is.
Is that I'm just being given too much time to think. But yes, Toronto, with a rematch of the last time they made the second round, are facing off against the Florida Panthers. Game this time though they have home ice advantage though, which is kind of fun.
Yeah.
So game 1 was in Toronto, and starting in net though was Anthony Stolarz, as expected against Sergei Bobrovsky, face off the former goalie tandem of last year's Stanley Cup winning team on the Florida Panthers. Other than that, for like the Leafs, there was no lineup changes from like anything else. Like the lineup didn't change from game 6 of against Ottawa to this. It was the same.
There
Florida
we go.
was, I don't know, I honestly was just surprised. I think I looked at the lineup and like they had separated like they were children. I gotta find the Florida Panthers like lineup card. It was like something where someone was hold on. Hold on. Hold on.
Holding.
There we go. No, that's the starting lineup. That's also a terrible graphic. Where's your lineup card? They don't post one?
What?
No, they just retweet the digital content manager's tweet of the lineup, and then they only make a graphic for the starting lineup.
And that's why they're not a proper team.
Who decide? Also, can we talk about how terrible this graphic design is?
So bad. I'm not being funny, but if you give me 10 minutes in Canva.
No, because that's why I thought this was the starting lineup, because there's so much space between the first and second name. It honestly looked like a line. I was like, oh yes, especially because I'm like reading it and I like the names that pop out to me are like Verhage and Barkov, and I'm like, oh yes. But yes, no, what I was gonna get at is Marchand was not on the same line as Tkachuk and Sam Bennett, who I keep forgetting is a center and like could play center. Also, I keep forgetting AJ Greer is a Florida Panther. You can tell how little impact he had on the ice last night that I've only realized that he played in the game last night now.
Oh
I just remember
dear.
when Sam Lafferty fought AJ Greer.
You just unlocked a
And I made a
memory.
stupid One Punch Man joke about it. Because One Punch Man and also Sam Lafferty are bald. Did your shoulder just pop?
Yeah.
I could hear it.
You could feel it.
But yeah, actually talking about the game because apologies if you were at all late to pulling up the game or getting to your seats if you were at the game or if you were, God forbid, were like, I can miss the first minute and a bit to go to the bathroom. Because
Nope.
William Nylander, on his first shift of the game, on the first shot of the game, scores a goal on Sergei Bobrovsky with, oh man, William Nylander's wrist shot. I don't, okay, I don't want to marry William Nylander. Okay, no, that's not true. I want to marry William Nylander's wrist shot
Mm.
because that thing is incredible.
And it also won't go bald. Sorry, William.
Look, the problem is like we've all seen Michael.
Mm.
So like
We've seen into the future.
we've seen quite literally because the Nylander genes are ridiculous.
They're so strong.
But I will say John Tavares with the screen on this one. Also as well, commends the play from Max Pacioretty. The past like two games, game 6 against Ottawa, and then this game have just been Max Pacioretty like legacy games.
Honestly, he is locked in.
He heard everyone saying that he should be replaced by Nick Robertson. It's like
When I don't think so.
it's like when like the employee who's been around for a long time has like heard rumors that they could get like replaced by like a summer intern, so they start like locking in. Sorry,
Like, oh no.
I made one metaphor about Nick Robertson being an intern when he was taking bench penalties like 2 years ago, and I haven't stopped doing it.
And you never will.
Oh, I never will. I'm running with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then because William Nylander is even more insane. Then later on scores again off of a zone entry by Max Pacioretty, with a rebound off of Bobrovsky's pads off of a shot by Oliver Ekman-Larsson, and the Leafs are up 2-0.
Yeah. Life is good.
Life is good, and I'm like, oh, like I think because, and also as well as like we know that this Leafs team is not the same Leafs team as 2023.
Mm.
But it's like it's one of those things where it's like that 2023 series, like you can't help but think about it. And like
Mm.
I think about it and like just how the Leafs played is so different than how they play now. And some of that also is just like, hey, we have a new coach now who doesn't do what Sheldon Keefe does in the playoffs. And also our team is better.
Mm.
Our decor is better. Our goaltending is better. Arguably as well, you could say your forward group has gotten better, if not
Yeah.
stayed the same.
I mean, you got Matthew Nyes going apeshit.
You have Matthew Nyes going apeshit. Like Matthew Nyes is a better player. Matthew Nyes is actually like has had now 2 full NHL seasons under his belt. You have John Tavares playing the best hockey he's played as a Toronto Maple Leaf since since the season he came to Toronto. You have William Nylander being William Nylander is William Nylander.
Yeah.
Bobby McMahon was on the Marlies.
Oh, time isn't real. I say that so much, but honestly, time isn't real.
And like he's only okay. Also as well, Pontus Holmberg. I
Yeah.
want to talk about Pontus Holmberg in a little bit. He had, I think, arguably his best game of the playoffs. I'm like running through my head of like you have like a fourth line that's actually a fourth line is not just like a collection of old guys.
Mm.
Because like the fourth line, if you look at some like previous iterations of like a play of the Leafs playoff fourth line, at one point it was just old men. I'm not kidding. Look at who was playing games in 2021.
Oh God.
I did that recently. Andre Cage was on the roster and played 7 games in 2021 in that series against Montreal. Like the fourth line, I think was like Jason Spezza, Wayne Simmons, and maybe Kyle Clifford. Like there was some other old guy on that fourth line.
Oh. Oh my God. That's crazy. And now look, they are younger and more beautiful.
Like I'm not kidding when I say like it might have been Joe Thornton.
Oh my God. That is wild.
I'm like looking back, I'm like looking at some of the names of like guys who were on teams and stuff, and I'm like, whoa.
It's like, what are you doing here?
What? No, because specifically the 2021 like North Division series was so weird because of like
Mm.
the COVID taxi squads you could have. So there was
Yeah.
just so many guys who were on team rosters where you look back and you were like, you were here? Like,
Like what?
and trades were really weird because like if you were trading a guy from an American, like you're bringing a guy in from an American team, like be a there had to be like a quarantine. So it was just a
Mm.
very weird season that I think like maybe in a couple more years people are going to talk about. But yes, all this to say, Leafs are a better team than they were in 2023 than they are now. They're a better team now, and it shows because
Yes.
they played like the better team in this game at least for the first 2 periods. Um then the Leafs take I say this as I go into them like them taking a really dumb too many men penalty on the power play. Like not even like an engaging part of the
Oh.
power play. It was like the dumbest thing where I know we've left the like Leafs are taking 15 too many men penalties in a season. Like Toronto Maple Leafs in like the past of Sheldon Keefe's bench mismanagement era.
Mm.
Like that era is done and dusted. It's not
We're free.
we're free. It's not a thing now where Leafs are just taking like that was a thing for a season where all the Leafs did was take too many men
Mm.
penalties and it
Oh
was
my
really
God.
frustrating and annoying. They aren't doing that anymore. And it's like really funny to see people who are unfamiliar with that sort of thing to be like, oh, like classically, it's like, no, this is weird. Why are they doing this? This is
Yeah.
maybe
It's
a
like it wasn't classic
miscommunication.
Leafs, it was classic Keith.
It was very much probably a Sheldon Keefe thing. I honestly wish it was easier to like track the types of penalties that
Mm.
players and teams like if you because it's something that gets counted like but you could like I wish there was a way where you could be like oh so and so took this many slashing penalties in
Yeah.
whatever season because it's obvious it all gets tracked. Maybe the NHL
Mm.
has that database and it's some like in their like secret stats thing that they don't publicly
Stop
share and it's not a
gatekeeping.
but like I want to see like bench penalties breakdowns and stuff. I think there's a way where I
Mm.
could
The people need to know.
yeah. Because there is a way where you can, like, if you look at the roster on Hockey DB, I think. No, there's not. There sometimes would be a thing where but it was more of a junior teams thing where you could like see how many bench
Mm.
penalties a team's taken, but that doesn't show up here.
Boo.
It was last season though, right? I'm not crazy when I say that.
No, it must have been last. It feels too
It
recent
was.
for it to
It must
not
have been
be
last
last
season. It
season.
must have been last season because I think it was a podcast topic for like
No, it
several
was
episodes in a row.
definitely last season. It was last season. We've talked about it too much for it to not have been last season.
I do remember like making like jokes about it on Twitter, but I wish there was
Mm.
like, okay, well, on it's not on TV anywhere that I can find. Anyways, that
Boo.
might be like if someone can tell me how you can find these sort of thing, let me know.
That's a summer
I don't even have the
project.
right. I also have a new notebook, so I don't even have like the right notebook in front of me. I can't even flip back through notes. This is terrible. This is all wow. But yeah, Leafs take the too many men penalty, and Florida takes advantage with Seth Jones scoring on the power play. I honestly keep forgetting he's the Florida Panther.
Yeah, me
I
too.
knew he wasn't in Chicago anymore. I just keep forgetting he's in Florida now. Um, but yeah, but not to fret before the end of the period to kind of give the Leafs momentum going into the second. Morgan Riley on a 2-on-1 with John Tavares is ridiculous and insane. And the fact that the Florida Panthers allowed that and like let them get that much time and space is kind of crazy because
Yeah.
those are two like notably not fast skaters on the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Mm. Like,
Like they're
how are
not
you gonna get out scared
by John
by
Tavares
Morgan Riley?
and more like two notably slow like they're very notably slow skaters. It's not like
Yeah.
you're having a guy who's known for his speed. Um, like I'm just trying to think of fast skaters. Bobby McMahon's pretty fast. Um,
Mm.
I was about to say Noah Gregor. He is a San Jose Shark. He is not a Toronto Maple Leaf.
You didn't have to bring that up. You didn't have to remind me.
I apologize.
You're forgiven.
My deepest sympathies.
To Noah Gorganish.
Yeah,
Population me.
To Noah Gregor Nation. Um,
Oh dear.
but yeah. So the Leafs are up 3-1. Leafs though at this point after one are outplaying and um out shooting and outplaying Florida. They're up in shots. They're up in just one puck battles. Like just you look and Florida does not you like have I guess maybe a lot of people have this mental image of like what the Florida Panthers are and how good they are as a
Mm.
team in their head. Um it was not I was like, okay, that's not Florida. Like
Mm.
they just weren't playing that great.
No.
Oh, now I'm realizing the like because there was a 2-on-1. The guy who was trying to get was back was Brad Marchand, who's also notably not a fast skater.
It's like
Oh
putting
man.
3 snails in a race. You're not gonna get anywhere, are you?
Yeah. Um but yeah, on to the second period where Toronto keeps up their strong play and keeps up the momentum. And then Chris Tanev with the knuckle puck um literally bounces one. The puck takes a
Mm.
bounce. Pass Bobrovsky. Matthew Nice with the screen, fork found in kitchen.
Who's
Like
surprised?
surprise. It's really funny. Tanev was asked about this goal in particular post game, and he said he was actually looking to like he was actually aiming for Matthew Nice's stick, and there was no contact, and there was just like enough movement on the puck. Like it was bouncing, it was rotating. And Bobrovsky just could not track it. Also, as well, especially with Matthew Nyes out in front, being
Mm.
large.
You're not gonna see past him.
He is very big. But yes, unfortunately, I think the biggest story of this game, though, and the one that I FaceTimed Marcie about 10 times about.
Oh, I honestly, I've never been so afraid than waking up.
I'm realizing now because you also keep your phone on Do Not Disturb. So, like, you probably didn't have any notifications except for the ones from me because I don't think your mom
No,
is texting you at 2 a.m.
no, it was literally, I just
Because
immediately woke up.
because the only people who get through Marcy's Do Not Disturb is her mom and me.
I am doing us no favors,
No, at
but it's
least I
important for
also
things like this.
it is important, except you didn't pick up.
I was asleep. And
So,
you know, I don't wake up when I'm asleep.
no, you're a very heavy sleep. Again, we're not helping ourselves.
Oh, it's fine.
We're not helping ourselves
We're
at
really
all
not.
in this situation.
We're really not.
Anyways, um,
Anyways.
the biggest story about this, obviously, is that with kind of a puck battle in front of the net,
Mm.
um, Sam Bennett comes by and fist, elbow, and arm all make contact with Anthony Stolarz' head, causing him to go down and then eventually leave the game. Now there's a lot of unnecessary, I think, debate. Like, I'm about to rant on this. There's a lot of unnecessary debate about whether the contact from Sam Bennett actually gave Anthony Stolarz a concussion, or was it the shot from Sam Reinhart that he took off the mask earlier in the period that took the mask off his head? Because obviously that's what goalie masks do. Like, if they take a hard enough impact, especially to like where the buckles sit, it pops off. Um, and there's all this unnecessary debate because at the end of the day, one of them was a hockey play in terms of puck going off goalie mask.
Mm.
Wow, what a
Shocker.
novel concept. And then the other one is very much not a hockey play because if you look at it, it is fifth. Like, it's the same. Sam Bennett did the same thing to Matthew Nyes what before he WWE like body slammed him into the
Mm.
ice, and also did the same thing to Brad Marchand last year in the playoffs, where he went in with his fist tucked in and positioned himself in a way where he could then punch the guy in the face. So I at this point though too, it's been 5 players in 5 years that Sam Bennett has knowingly concussed. Like, we know,
Mm.
hey, this happened. Sam Bennett did this thing to this player, gave him a concussion, and the
Mm.
guy missed considerable time, or at least missed a time that was had an impact on his team.
Yeah.
When do we stop giving Sam Bennett the benefit of the doubt? I'm sick of people trying to be like, well, he could, like, Anthony Stolarz could have gotten a concussion from the puck to the face. Okay, it's still not cool to hit a guy in the head.
Yeah.
That's
Like, and
still
as well,
against the rules.
and when people are like, oh, but like, we might not have done it on purpose. And I'm like, I don't care. It's the impacts,
When do
not
we
the
stop
intent.
giving him a benefit of the doubt?
Like, shut up.
When do we stop giving Sam Bennett the benefit of the doubt that he didn't mean to do it on purpose? Because there's
Exactly.
no way that it's been 5 times and he's 5 times to 5 different players on different teams that he's
Mm.
not meant to try to give a guy a concussion and take
Literally,
him out
it's
of the
like,
game.
oh, I'm just gonna walk past you in the street, and then, oh no, I'm so sorry that I WWE like smacked you into the middle of next year and concussed you. I'm so sorry. That was such an accident. My hand just slipped. Like, no, shut up.
And like and you can argue all you want on what like whether or not that is what if the contact from Sam Bennett gave Anthony Stollers a concussion or not. That doesn't actually matter. And I think like all like because it's all these people who are like, but like head injury is like important. It could like this is why like it could be the puck off the face. This is why concussions in hockey bad. You guys are actually not getting the point across that you want to get in like you're actually minimizing
Mm,
you're minimizing it by saying it's a puck to the face and not like, hey, maybe it's the elbow to the side of the head.
yeah.
You're minimizing it by saying, no, he actually like the contact from Sam Bennett doesn't matter. Actually, yes, it does. Because if
Mm,
it was the puck off the mask and then he
mm.
got the elbow to the head,
It's still
that's
played a
two head
part.
traumas in the
Mm,
span of 10 real minutes. Like 10 real like real world minutes, not in-game minutes.
mm.
They're both still bad. Like
Yeah.
we also know that head trauma like compounds and like builds on top of like
Mm.
on top of itself, and that having like multiple impacts to the head in a short period of time is actually not good and really bad for you.
Yeah, who'd have
And
thought?
who'd have thought? And I also think, hey, can we stop giving Sam Bennett the benefit of the doubt? I don't think he deserves it
Mm.
anymore. I
No.
don't care how much he can go and sit in front of the media the day after, mind you, the day after,
Mm.
and say, "Hey, I actually didn't mean to do it. Me and Anthony Stoller are still good friends. I reached out to him. Okay, so you apologized.
Mm.
You said sorry. I also had to say sorry when I would fight with my sister as a kid. Did I mean it every single time? No.
Oh.
Did I still have to do it? Yes.
Mm.
Like I don't know. I think there's also like a lot of strongly worded opinions by a lot of Leaf fans on the fact that Sam Bennett was not made for like media availability after the game last night. To that I have to say, um, that may not be a him move. That may be a
Mm.
Panthers PR move. Not to comms major out here. I actually finally finished my comms degree,
Woo.
so I want to use it. Um, I say on a podcast. Um, but like Pam, at the end of the day, it's the team's PR team that has final say on what players are made available to the media and how this kind of how it works. Maybe I don't know. I've never sat in an NHL press box, but
Yeah.
how it usually works, or at least how it works when I in the press
Mm.
boxes I have sat in. Um, the PR guy comes over with around 3-4 minutes left in the game and comes over and goes, "Hey, who do you guys maybe want to talk to? If I can." Now, you when I've done it, it's been like U Sports press boxes, so it's been like fairly informal in terms of
Mm.
like, who do you guys want me to try and get? I'll try my best. They may hide in the showers. It's U Sports, right? And so then we go, and then we, as the media sitting in the press box, go, okay, can we have the goalie? Can we have the guy who scored this goal? Can we have the guy who scored this goal?
Mm.
And can we have the guy who's had a 4 assist night or something?
Yeah.
And the PR guy goes, dope, I will try and get them to you. Now, sometimes depending on the value of the game, like, and also as well, you always talk to the coach. Um, but depending on like the level of games, like if it's a win, you may get all of those guys. If it's a loss, you're probably not going to get everyone you want. You're probably going to get maybe a player. If it's a big national championship game, you're going to get like a parade of like 6 guys.
Yeah, everyone, they're all just sat there, just like, my turn.
If it's like a regular season game, you maybe get one or two, maybe just one. Uh, depends. Like that's just kind of how it works.
Hmm.
But also as well, the PR team for the hockey team that you're trying to talk to players of like post game can also be like, hey, actually, no, we're not going to make so and so available, or we don't want you to talk to so and so. And it could not be from the player's side. It could truly
Mm.
be the team being like, hey, yo, you're not talking to this guy. Which in this case, it obviously, I think it was because
Yeah.
Sam Bennett did do a media availability the next day, but also I think the team was very afraid of Sam Bennett in the immediately following a game one loss in a series. You were like, I don't want to read too much into betting odds because I hate looking at betting odds, but like the Panthers were favored to win this game going into it before the game started in a lot of places. So to lose, and then you do something controversial. I don't think the PR team wants to then send you out immediately post game where you can say something incriminating in the heat of
Yeah.
the moment. It's noticed too that he was made available the next day, probably because they had a PR guy sit down with him and being like, so here's what you can and can't say so you don't get suspended. Or the league has decided they're not going to look into it, which they didn't. So you can say whatever you want. You can admit that you meant to do it on purpose. The league can't do anything because they already decided, hey, we're not going to do anything. But we don't want you to say anything before that could then force the league to do something. Because if you go out there in front of Toronto media at a home Toronto playoff game,
Round
everyone
two.
is around to everyone who has ever covered hockey in the city of Toronto, like who has ever covered the Maple Leafs at all at any point, is there in full force. Like Jesse Blake's there. That's the level we're talking about. Like you have the people who don't travel, like because there's some journalists like David Alter or Mark Masters who travel to every game,
David.
and then there's some that do not travel to every game and they're only at the home games. Jesse Blake. So, that is, but you had the full brigade of Toronto media there to probably the first question is going to be about the contact with Stollers, in which you can maybe in the heat of the moment, maybe your words get twisted, could admit guilt, and then the league has to be like, oh, so you did mean to get like potentially give him a concussion, suspension. They're still not going to do it, but like there'd be more of an outrage if they didn't than this current situation that we're in right now. To continue on to talk about Stollers though, he went to this is where the timeline gets a little bit skewed because a lot of it was not shown like as it went on in the broadcast. It was Sportsnet going back during intermission being like, look at this footage we've found because we have 7,000 camera angles on the ice. But following the head contact, Stollers gets up, goes over to the bench, does his little TV timeout chat with Joseph Wool, seems to be in good spirits. At least we don't see Anthony Stollers' face. Joseph Wool is smiling though. So
which Fork Founding Kitchen.
Fork Founding Kitchen. Joseph Wool smiling at Anthony Stollers. Wow, shocker.
Whoa.
So they're whatever. And then Stollers goes back over, plays until the next TV timeout, comes back over to the bench, and then throws up over the boards onto the bench, which I have to say, Joseph Wool has an iron stomach because that was right in front of him. And if that happened to me, I'm sorry.
No.
You'd have to get a second bucket.
Yeah, we could be like, then we can throw up together.
But like literally like directly in front of him, I'd be like, nah. No,
because
I do not need to see what Anthony Stollers' pregame meal is.
I didn't notice like what as soon as he started to throw up, Joseph Wool just kind of turns away.
The awkward like rotate, pivot
just
away.
Like, oh, I'm sorry you're throwing up, but I also don't want to just stare at you.
There.
Just like, it's okay. I'm supporting you, but like from a distance.
Yeah. So Stollers then at that point obviously leaves the game and Joseph Wool goes in. And at what case, then I am texting Bar and calling her going, pick up the phone. Joseph Wool is going in. They're putting Wool in.
Honestly, I eight missed calls and I woke up and I was like...
It's the thing where it's like, when you're watching the broadcast, like when you're watching the game, obviously now in hindsight, we know what happened. But because Stollers got back up and stayed in the game immediately following the Bennett hit and then left. It was very strange because the Leafs were up like 4-1, and all of a sudden, like they come back from a TV timeout, and it's like, and here we have Joseph Wool entering the game, and you're like,
And it's like, what?
what?
What's happening?
What's going on? But yes, Joseph Wool goes in his first game in like 18 days since the Leafs closed out their regular season against Detroit. And he gets into the game early, making 3 big stops with shots from the point. And to get the Leafs to the end of the second period. And then the third period starts, and it's very obvious, the Leafs are not the same team. I don't know, I mean, obviously you can imagine that seeing like Anthony Shores, who is like very large man,
Yeah.
like not come back.
You're like,
Does impact you. And on like the thing of Joseph Wool is like he allows a couple goals you definitely would want back from him. I don't think it's indicative on like his overall performance. I think it's
he
just
hasn't played in nearly 3 weeks.
hasn't played in 18 games, goes in unexpectedly mid-game, and also goes in after watching his teammate and goalie partner, who he is close friends with, reportedly, throw up directly in front of him onto the bench, like over the boards onto the bench. Would also, there's like seats like directly behind the bench, would not want those.
No.
In that moment.
Ooh.
I just remembered like there's like seats right there on the side and also seats directly behind the bed. Like,
ooh.
Yeah. But also Toronto as well, not playing the same way. Just Full though is just like you can tell he's not as confident in himself in terms of just the fact like playing a little bit further and back into his crease. But I don't think like if he ends up playing in game 2, which we don't know who that starter is yet, if he ends up playing tomorrow, I don't think we would see that sort of like
no, because he'd
play.
be more prepared.
He'd be more prepared also as well, like just like he can say all he wants about like his mindset and how it was fine and whatever, but like I
no,
think
you're shitting yourself, Joseph. You're not.
It's okay to admit it that you were like a little bit not totally ready to jump right into it like that. But
yeah, like not many people would be.
it's okay. But I do think he'd just be more sure of himself. Also as well, especially because it's like we've seen him in the playoffs
Yeah, we
before.
know he's capable.
And especially coming into us like mid-series.
We know he can do it.
Exactly. But yeah, no, Florida scores twice here with one from Luostarinen on a tip-in and one from Balinskis to make it 4-3 for Florida. And then at that point, Toronto calls a timeout, which I think is a smart move. And I would call these the Sheldon Keefe timeouts.
Yes.
I do think, though, this is not so much of a Sheldon Keefe timeout. Because usually those are like early in the second period, Toronto allows 2 quick goals while also being like down. Like they're not leading. And Sheldon Keefe is like, hey, timeout. And we're like, what are you doing? This is a good timeout there, a good move by Berube. Just essentially getting the group back to being centered and telling according to the words of I think it was Morgan Riley post game who said, oh yeah, just told us to like focus and dig deep, dig in. Sorry, I just think of that one Connor McDavid clip. So stupid. And dig in the Leafs did, as Matthew Nyes hates Florida so bad
much
as he scores one on the breakaway off of 2-1 board battles. One by Chris Tanev and then one by Mitch Marner off the pass, and puts the Leafs up 5-3. I will say also as well, just great timing because Florida gets caught kind of on a line change a little bit. But yes, incredible.
Beautiful stuff.
Just great.
Really nice.
A little backhand. Top shelf. Happy nice. I will say I texted you like during the not you specifically. Actually, no, it wasn't you. It was a different group chat that Randy was also in. You were asleep, so you wouldn't have answered.
Still, I feel hurt and betrayed by this.
It was Jackie and Kenny and Randy.
32 Thoughts divorce incoming.
Do not joke about that.
I would never.
But I texted before. I was like, because on the TV timeout, like just like prior to this goal, like there was the Matthew Nyes Adidas commercial, and I went Matthew Nyes Adidas commercial in the wise words of Phil Nyes, show it to me 2-3, and show it to me he did.
Oh yeah, he must have sensed
commercial.
Yeah, sensed
the
commercial presence of his brother.
Going, show it to me. I will say though, show it to me 2-3 is now like in my vocabulary.
Yeah.
Just incredible. The line delivery too. Hats off to Phil Nyes.
Incredible.
Maybe he has a future in acting. Like do it. Like I don't know. They are making that. What's it called? The book that we read.
Oh yes, they are.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Hey, they're gonna need hockey. They're gonna need what? Like at least two rosters of hockey players.
Yeah. Phil Nyes,
they're filming it in Toronto too. They're filming it in Toronto too. He can spend time with his brother.
Phil. Phil Nyes, you want an IMDb page so bad. Just saying.
But yes. Then there was a series of missed empty net chances by Toronto in which I just think spend time just taking the shots down. There were so many that I was like, why are you missing these? But then with the extra man advantage, Sam Bennett scores to put. I just dropped my pen. To put the sorry, I don't know why I'm like my brain is blanking. To put the Panthers within one, but it would be of no. It doesn't matter. Leafs win 5-4.
Yay!
And Leafs take game one. The Florida Panthers did out attempt Toronto, like at least like partway through the third period. The shot attempts were in Florida's favor, but Toronto did outshoot Florida.
Yay!
We had kind of weird insider update. It was like front via evaluation. Probably there's some scans and stuff to make sure he's all, because like like vomiting is a very like serious symptom of head trauma, and like just gotta make sure he's not got like a brain bleed or something.
Yeah.
Cautious. And I think I think a lot of people are putting like a lot of caution in him being like taken out on a stretcher. I don't think he was like laying flat on his back on a stretcher. I think he was just sitting in the stretcher, like sitting upright in it. I think they just they put him in the stretcher so he's laying down because he's potentially concussed. And also because like it's easier to transport like a 6'5", 220-pound man in a stretcher to a hospital than it is to try and shove him into an ambulance.
You just sat there
or the backseat of a car. Like I don't know. I can't remember if it was like majority of Americans I was seeing like this opinion from. I was like, okay, also as well, NHLers like do have health insurance during the season
Mm,
when they're on signed to a contract. But like in Canada, it's not expensive like to take an ambulance to the hospital.
mm,
Like it's not gonna put you in crippling also as well, he's a hockey player, but like
yeah.
you all I'm saying is universal health care is a thing in Canada.
Yeah.
Like
Big up
it,
universal healthcare.
I think if Anthony Shores had the option between sitting in an ambulance to get to the hospital where like you could flip the sirens and bypass Toronto traffic to get
Mm,
to Toronto General. I do not know if that's the hospital they took him to. There's like four on the same block in downtown Toronto. It could have
mm,
also been Mount Sinai. Like it's this is such like peak Toronto like reference that I'm making that I feel like not a lot of people will get, but like right on College, just south of Queen's Park, there's like five hospitals within like a square block of each other. I'm not even joking. Include like it's like Sick Kids is right there, Toronto General's right there. Mount Sinai. Oh, what's the cancer research one? Princess Margaret, I think it is. The Women's Hospital. Like it's literally like if you look at it on Google Maps and Google Maps does like red for hospitals,
mm.
it's like literally a square block of red for all the
Oh,
hospitals that are
good place
there.
to have a medical emergency.
Queen's
Mm.
Park, the
Also,
Ontario Legislative Buildings.
I can't stop thinking about trying to fit Anthony Stolarz in like my mum's car.
No, that's the thing that I'm thinking too. I'm like, also as well, like maybe his wife drove down to the game, or maybe she Ubered. Like he also has been on video walking to Scotiabank Arena from
Yeah.
like where the Leafs are staying in a hotel for the playoffs to the arena, like downtown, like basically every single game, there's been a video of him walking
Mm.
by the same intersection at like Bay and Front. I'm not kidding. I know it's like right outside Union.
Oh,
And then they go
it's
down the sketchy underpass tunnel that I can't believe they go down because I don't like going down it.
mm.
And I'm not a recognizable public figure.
What do you
I also am
mean?
not like a 6 foot plus tall man who's a professional athlete in a sport that involves punching people sometimes.
Hmm, that
So
might
like
have something to do with it.
I think that maybe can change or like people's opinions on like what is a sketchy
Mm.
underpass to walk under. Um, but yeah, like I don't think they even have a card there. So how is he then supposed to?
Mm.
They're gonna put him in the ambulance, okay?
Like they're not gonna make him walk and be like, "Oh, well, you walked here, so see you soon."
Walk, take line one and take the TTC to Queen's Park, where you're then gonna walk into the hospital. Like, let's be so for real.
Mm.
Um, but yes, he was taken for eval. The update that we have, we don't have much update on him besides the fact that he's doing good, and Brandon Carlo saw him at breakfast and he was
Thank
smiling.
you,
So
Brendan
like,
Carla.
thank you, Brandon Carlo, noted Leafs insider, for giving us inside information on how Anthony Stolarz is doing. He was seen smiling.
It's always a good sign.
Um, yeah. Some other Leafs news updates, because they play game two tomorrow on Wednesday at 7 p.m. Thank God this game is at
What a good
7 p.m.
time.
I was so mad about the 8 p.m. start for the draft lottery. I was like, screw the ping pong balls. Um, I was like in bed at like 11 and I didn't enjoy that. Um, but yes, I will say though, congratulations are in order to Mitch Marner and his wife Stephanie for
Yes.
for having for the birth of their first child, Miles Daniel Marner, which is a great name. And I think
Oh,
anyone who was convinced that Mitch Marner would name his kid something weird and strange, like genuinely serious, I think because I joked about it, I was like, oh yeah, he'll name the kid Zeus Jr.
it's like you
I
think
don't
Steph would stand for that.
you think A Steph would stand for that. Also, Mitch Marner, whose middle name is also Daniel and has a brother named Christopher. It was never going to be a weird name.
No,
Miles is a great name though.
it
I
is.
personally know a Miles, so like
Mm,
I don't know. Miles is a great name. Miles with an I. That was clarified in the, when he
yes.
spoke to the media the next day. Um, but yeah, Mitch Marner dad era. I'm trying not to think about it too hard, or my brain will explode. As someone who watched Mitch Marner on the London Knights,
Oh, how time flies.
I was in middle school.
I feel the
I
need to tweet that one edit I did.
I was in middle school. I now have a university degree.
It's crazy. So you know how
And
I often
Mitch
say
Marner
time
has
isn't
a kid.
real?
Mitch Marner has a child. Um, but yes, so watch out for the OHL draft class of 2041 and the NHL draft class of 2043. Miles Marner will be taking the hockey world by storm.
I can't wait for my NHL draft spreadsheet that year.
To put in Miles Marner. I will say as
Like I've
well,
waited for this.
I will say also as well, Miles Marner is a great hockey name.
So good.
That's a fantastic hockey name. Mitch also wanting
Really.
his kid to have the same initials as him, which,
Of course.
of course,
Of course.
Mitchell.
Oh, Mitch. Oh, I
But
can't believe he's
yes,
a dad.
I know. Uh, uh, Mitch Marner also called his wife a beast,
Legend.
which iconic. Calling your wife a
Oh.
beast as she for like labor as if you were like a teammate during like a game.
Oh my god.
Also said that the kid was smart to not be bored on a game day.
Oh, I love Mitch Marner.
But that also said that there if the like during the series against Ottawa there was a contingency plan in place for go to labor go back to Toronto and join her, which but yes, also in other Leafs adjacent news, the Marley signed London Knight Len Sim to a one
Yeah, they
year
did.
friendship. Okay, Landon Sim, uh, using Isograph is a very skilled forward player. They should have a friend potentially next season, and on what plays. And if he, I don't know if he'll make the roster, but if he's on the roster, he'll be on the roster. So they'll find. Um, love that because Lennon is undrafted free agent overager in has been through two trips OHL OHL finals. Last year played in the Memorial Cup, including the final where they lost to Saginaw. And the London Knights are facing off against the Oshawa Rebels and fellow Leafs, now fellow prospect, I guess, if we're talking about Lennon Sim as well. Leafs prospect, um, and Danford. That starts on Thursday. The series kicking off in London. Um,
Mm.
yeah. In terms of some other news, I think I'm realizing now, yes, Dallas Stars beat the Colorado Avalanche in Game 7 with a hat trick from Mikko Rantanen. To Dallas will be now playing against the winner of the double OT Game 7 between Winnipeg and St. Louis Blues, which was the Winnipeg Jets, as they won in double OT with a goal from Adam Lowry. The Jets were down at one point 3-1 in this game and came back to win in double OT. And yeah, in terms of other series, Edmonton and Vegas kicks off tonight, as so does Washington and Carolina, which is currently underway. Which that Washington is up 1-0 with a goal from what page is loading? Oh, Alexi Protas.
Oh,
I think in his first game back from getting a puck to the face, I believe. So good for him.
That's nice.
Brandon Duhaime and John Carlson with the assists. Did you just crack your back?
That was my hip.
Oh, it was your hip. Ugh.
I'm aging.
Yeah.
I'm 21.
In other news, for Worlds, some Team Canada Worlds roster additions were made this past weekend, including Sidney Crosby returning to the World Championships for Team Canada for the first time since 2015, where he won gold. Marc-Andre Fleury is making his Worlds debut for Team Canada, as he announced in his end-of-season availability with the Minnesota Wild that he is making the trip to Sweden this year. So will be Jared Spurgeon from Minnesota, as well as Nathan McKinnon from the Colorado Avalanche. This is turning out to be quite a very star-studded roster for Team Canada at the Worlds. Probably one of the best Team Canada rosters we've seen at Worlds in the past couple of years. There's still also as well, Canada has won both of their pre-tournament games against Austria and Hungary with two rosters that just included a bunch of children. Like that, there was that game 1 roster against Hungary that if you looked at it, it was literally like Ryan O'Reilly and a bunch of teenagers. So we will see, like, there's a lot of there's a couple draft prospects, like Porter Martone is there, but there's also guys who have been drafted, like, well, Carter George will stay as the second or third goaltender with Marc-Andre Fleury, but Zane Parekh has also been there, part of like the pre-tournament camp. I'm trying to think of who else has what other young children. Not in the why? That's I did. I want to. Yes, there you go. There. Been close up. I break and yet. We will see on a like tournament. So it's they went to the tournament. Very Canada win. Very member of the qualification, which is fun. On other news as well, the draft lottery was yesterday. That is why the Leafs game had but they need very low odds. Pick first overall in NHL draft. So winning the second draw. So part of the article for it. How to read it because I'm the pong balls live on for the draft for the odds and instead of just flipping over cards. I realize that not a lot of people have an observation draft. Like for me, I was like, this is kind of cool. For anyone who had any average, like didn't do a good job of explaining it. But the Islanders win the draft lottery will pick first. They they move up 9 spots. So they will be picking second. And Chicago will pick third, and then it shuffles down from there. So see. Uh, we will see who goes first overall, where it be still as has been projected, or potentially else as well. Miami, we will see. I'm like, we have technical. Like to talk about work draft. So it's just I'm more because none of my nothing loading. Could be by much. It's it. Well, actually, can't be. Uh, waffle to kill time, but I actually left three of my notes for the episode, and now I'm realizing it's actually probably a good thing to have a co-host because no one wants to listen to this. I don't think. I don't know why is nothing loading. So, and I also like don't want to cut anything out.
Oh,
Oh, there you go. I can hear you.
hello?
Yeah.
I hate this laptop so much. Sorry, it's like my entire screen froze and like I couldn't move my mouse, and then like the audio, I was basically just hearing like every 5 seconds there'd be like a eh.
That's so weird because you were still like moving perfectly fine on my end.
I love when my laptop just it has to hang on for the next 13 days.
It really does. I was talking about the NHL draft and how New York Islanders won the lottery to pick first overall.
Yeah, welcome back, John Tavares.
Welcome. Hey, in about 10 years, he's going to be whoever gets picked over first overall is going to become a Toronto Maple Leaf.
I
Get
can't
ready.
wait.
And also as well as won the second draw. So how it works, and I feel like I've explained this. There's two draws. There's the first draw in which doesn't mean you're winning first overall. It just means that you can move up a maximum of 10 spots up the draft order. That's what winning the lottery is. So like, even though they had such odds, the Calgary pick, which is by Montreal, but the Calgary pick from the Sean Monahan Montreal trade could have that like Calgary that they could have won the lot. They wouldn't move up to picking first. They'd only move up to picking 6. And so then the San Jose Sharks, who are still ranked last because of where they finished the season, the regular season in terms of points, would still get to pick first. So then the second draw is the second highest. So you have moves up 9 spots, but you can't move into first. So if you move up, I think Nashville was third. They finished the season third worst. They can't move up into first, even though they can move up to 9 spots. They can only move up into second. So that's I think a lot of people were really confused by the fact that there's 2 draws because it was the first time we were seeing the draws happen instead of just flipping over cards where everything's already been sorted out and the odds have been done and all that sort of thing. I as cool it was for me, like true hockey sicko, to see the ping pong balls like on TV and see how that process works and like the magic numbers and everything that teams had to get the right combinations they need to win the draws and stuff. That was cool. But for someone who just is so used to seeing the cards flip over, there was a lot of people were just confused because they didn't fully understand. Like they didn't realize that only 4 ping pong balls per drawn. And that's because it's combination of numbers. That's where the odds are. And that the NHL like that, there's 2 draws that happen, not just one. But yeah, so New York Islanders will pick first overall. Who they will pick, I don't know. Depends. If they want a defenseman, Matthew Schaefer. If they want a forward, Michael Higgins. No, I'm sorry, Michael Misa. I see. It's the thing where I don't know. New York Islanders, because New York Islanders have direction. At least with like the other teams that were kind of, if it was like San Jose who won first overall, they have a direction. They're not picking another forward. They're going to want to look at a defenseman.
Yeah.
Bolster that blue line. Matthew Schaefer would be huge to add in there with Sam Dickinson. Crazy team. In like 3 to 5 years. Chicago does not need another young defenseman. They have too many young defensemen as it is. They have a lot of young defensemen. They need a forward. They'd be looking at Michael Misa. Nashville, they need a defenseman more than they would need a forward just because Roman Josi is forgettably old. I forget how old Roman Josi. I constantly forget that he's older than I think he is. But you need another defenseman there. Whereas like New York Islanders, you could make an argument for like why they would want to pick Matthew Schaefer. You know, you have a guy who can with Noah Dobson, you have two young defensemen. That's kind of like the foundation of the blue line for you. Or
Mm.
you have, or you pick Mike and you have impact scoring, because of the things that like New York Islanders notably can't do very well. Like they're just like they have been for a while. This really strange, like often like black hole where like Matthew
Mm.
Barzal is an Islander and like is very much forgotten about for how tired he is because
Yeah.
he's on Long Island and like they just don't score very much. I mean, they also have they like some of it too is like signing Pierre Engvall to a 7-year deal, which is still
Mm.
ridiculous. So you can make an argument there for why the Islanders would maybe want Michael Misa instead. So we will see how that works. I will say though, I would not be surprised though this year if at the draft you see first round picks get traded, especially in around the top 5, 7,
Mm.
because of the nature of this draft class. It is not as strong of a draft class as we've seen in years prior, and it's not as strong as what 2026 is expected to be. So you could see a lot of picks get flipped for a later pick if a team knows that the player they maybe want is going to be available further down the line, depending on who picks who. I know, like, because San Jose is picking second. If the New York Islanders pick Misa, then it doesn't really. Then San Jose Sharks will pick Schaefer, and okay, Chicago
Mm.
probably will go with Porter Martone probably then. If the New York Islanders pick Matthew Schaefer, though, you could see a scramble from the San Jose Sharks to trade down their pick to somewhere where they're not because they don't need any more forwards. You could see them
No.
then be in a scramble to trade down their pick to pick somewhere more where there's to trade further down to where there's it's more reasonable to pick other defensemen that are in this draft that are in the first that are
Mm.
projected to go in the first round. Um, Something to keep in note in relation to the draft now that we're talking about it. Steve Stais in his end of season meeting with the Ottawa Senators said that the Ottawa Senators plan on keeping this year's draft pick and will um, give up their 2026 draft pick for a trade thing that I think I've probably discussed multiple times.
Mm.
Um, I don't agree with that because this draft class is significantly worse. You are not in the lottery. You are not guaranteed to make the playoffs this year, even though you made the playoffs this year. And also, 2026 draft class is the stronger draft class. So even if you are
Mm.
making the playoffs and you're picking later, um, why wouldn't you want to keep that pick? Or also as well, have that as trade capital
Yeah.
going into this off season and also as well the next trade deadline
Mm.
because I don't know like Ottawa does have to add to their lineup. They have to find like a top quality finisher for Tim Stützle and like you might do that on the trade market using that first. I don't know why you would want, but that's my personal opinion. I also am not paid to be the Ottawa Senators GM.
Yeah.
If I was, well, I don't know if we'd be sitting here. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't, well, I don't know. I don't know what it would, the image of the GM of the Ottawa Senators hosting a Leafs podcast is not exactly.
But you could just be like breaking the mold, you know, putting yourself out there. Yeah. It probably wouldn't go down too well.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Mm. But yeah, I think that's all. I don't know if you have anything to add. I'm like trying to think if I've forgotten any news. I don't think I have.
No. I think we've covered everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of anything. I can't think of any other news. Except for the Canucks Twitter account getting hacked
Yes.
and posting
That,
crypto content.
I'm so annoyed that that happened whilst I was napping.
I think it's so funny they had to put out a statement being like the account's been compromised. Because they kept posting crypto and then like replying to stuff. Oh my God. I will say though, like if I somehow had access to like an NHL team's like socials, I don't think I'd be using it
Oh,
to post crypto scams.
I would be using it to cause the most insane levels of panic.
Oh yeah.
Like, oh, I have access to the Canucks Twitter account. Brock Besser resigning. Then what are they gonna do? They can't take it back.
No, they wouldn't have been able to.
Like, I'd have to be evil. Like, I'm sorry, I don't care about crypto. Cause chaos on Stan Twitter. Like, he had one job. Tweet something about Quinn Hughes. No, I'd have tweeted Quinn Hughes to the Devils. Twitter would have actually gone up in flames. Oh, but that's just me wanting to cause chaos.
Yep. You would cause a chaos.
It would have been funny though. Or alternatively, Jack and Luke Hughes to the Canucks, because then Devils Twitter goes up in flames. Anyway, if anyone wants to hack an NHL account and give me access to it,
You can't say that on the podcast.
I am joking for legal
Now,
reasons.
because now everyone's going to know if this happens again to a different NHL team's Twitter account. We have like definite proof on the internet of you saying.
If anyone hacks an NHL account, do not give me access to it. I legally object.
With that being said, I think we're gonna end this episode here. We'll be back on Thursday. Yes, Thursday.
Yes.
I think Thursday works. I'm like trying to like think in my head schedule wise. Yes. We'll be back on Thursday to discuss game 2 and other playoff happenings
Shenanigans.
shenanigans. Um and also and probably even game 1 of Worlds. I actually don't know the World schedule in terms of when Team Canada is playing. Should probably look into that. But yeah, we'll be back. In the meantime, you can find the show wherever you get your podcasts. You can also follow the show on Twitter at From the Fourth Line. That's 4 with the number 4 TH. We are an Offside News podcast. You can find Offside News on all social platforms at Offside News, or you can read all of the playoff coverage, including with the PHL playoffs starting up soon on offsidenewsco.com. But in between episodes, if you miss Marcie and I that much because you think we're just that hilarious, you can follow us over on Twitter at 6 Sillies for Marcie, at Parab1 for myself. Thank you guys so much for listening. We'll be back. See you on Thursday. And in the meantime, go Leafs go.
Let's go.